Have you ever considered that Elmo the Muppet and NBA legend Charles Barkley may have something in common? We will explore that today. Thank you for joining me. This is the Wishing You Well podcast, and I am your host, Maria Patrick. I'm a certified health coach and a Qigong instructor, and my life's work is helping people with their health and wellness. Our mental and emotional health are a huge part of this. As you know, this podcast gathers inspiration and ideas from the people and the stories in the news to help us to be healthier and stronger. So as I said earlier, today we are talking about that cute red Muppet Elmo and the legendary sports commentator and former professional basketball player, Charles Barkley. Last week, Elmo made global headlines with just 9 words. He posted a tweet on X, formerly known as Twitter, and said, "Elmo's just checking in. How is everybody doing?" Well, that sweet check-in got over 120 million views in less than 24 hours, and it started a chain reaction of responses and conversation. Because of the high number of responses and retweets and the fact that celebrities and national leaders, including the United States president, were among those chatting online with Elmo, it caught the attention of national and international media. Many of the over 40,000 responses that Elmo's tweet received were from people who opened up and really poured their hearts out, saying that they actually weren't doing well, that life is hard, that people are tired and stressed and sad. Some of the responses included, "Not well, Elmo. They've raised my rent, and I'm going to come live with you on Sesame Street." Or how about this one? "Elmo, I'm having a rough time. Love you, though." Or this one. "Elmo, I'm depressed and broke." Or this one. "Elmo, I cannot wait for Friday to come every single week." Or this one. "The world is burning around us, Elmo." And this one. "In the grand scheme of the universe, our existence is merely a blink, devoid of inherent meaning or purpose. We are fleeting shadows in an indifferent cosmos." At first, Elmo tried responding to the individual tweets and posted responses like, "Elmo hopes you're doing okay. Elmo loves you today and every day." There was a student on Instagram who said to Elmo, "I don't want to go to class, Elmo. I need words of encouragement." And Elmo responded, "You can do it. Try to make a new friend today. That will make class extra fun, and tomorrow you will be extra excited to see them." A truly beautiful thing happened. People started commenting on each other's posts and sharing words of support and comfort and encouragement. Elmo ended up responding to the barrage by writing, "Wow, Elmo was glad he asked. Elmo learned that it is important to ask a friend how they are doing. Elmo will check in again soon, friends. Elmo loves you." And it ended with the hashtag emotional well-being. Because of the way the internet unloaded their hearts and minds on Elmo, the account managers behind Elmo, the official Sesame Street account, posted mental health resource information and encouraged people to seek help when they feel they need it. We all know that social media can take an ugly turn. We needn't look any further than last week's congressional hearings, where the CEOs of Facebook and X and Snap and TikTok were put on the hot seat about the damage that social media does to young people and the safety measures that must be taken to protect them. In this particular instance, overnight, Elmo became an online therapist to the world, and it opened up discussions about mental health and the importance of checking in with one another. I think that there's an important message that we can all benefit from hearing in this. Isn't it great when someone checks in with you to see how you're doing? How often are we checking in on others? One of my favorite bosses was a man named James, who made time every afternoon to go around the office for what he called his daily happiness check. It was around the same time every day, 4:30, and there were about 24 of us working for him. He went from desk to desk, cubicle to cubicle, checking in. A cynic might say that he was just looking to see who was still working hard or who among us had escaped the office early. But I remember it differently. It was FaceTime, decades before FaceTime existed. It was a chance for the boss to see all of us and for us to see him. I don't think I was alone in looking forward to those afternoon check-ins. It was a chance to engage with the big boss. Sometimes we discussed work stuff. Other times it was something far less official. I promised myself back then that if I was ever in charge of a group, large or small, that I would be certain to make time for the daily happiness check-ins. Are you someone who's particularly good at this? Or perhaps you know someone who is. I am lucky enough to have several close friends who are really good at picking up the phone and reaching out. That may seem like a very little thing, but in a world where most everyone seems to prefer texting over calling, and we're used to our phones only ringing with marketers and scammers on the other end, it is refreshing to see a familiar name light up my phone. Why do you think that so many people responded to Elmo's tweet? Was it because we don't get asked too often, how are you doing today? Was it because for so many, myself included, that Sesame Street and its beloved characters represent something so comforting and familiar to us? Just seeing one of those characters takes you back to a time when there was less stress. Or is it because our friend Elmo was the one asking? Someone who was known for being incredibly caring and kind and a great listener. While the world was busy chatting away about Elmo last week, another celebrity's kindness caught my attention, and that is Charles Barkley. You may know that in addition to working as a sports analyst on TNT, a job for which he has won 4 Sports Emmy Awards, Charles now also co-hosts an evening show on one of the cable news networks. Last week, while on air during the live show, he received a call from a viewer who also happens to be a huge fan of Sir Charles. He called in and was extremely happy to do so, because he said he had been waiting years for the chance to say thank you to Charles Barkley. Was he calling in to say thank you for all of the baskets, rebounds, and assists that Charles Barkley made during the 16 years he was in the NBA? Or for being an 11-time All-Star? Or for being elected the league's MVP back in 1993? Or perhaps because he led the league in 2-point field goal percentage? Or because he was part of the USA's gold medal-winning Olympic basketball team 2 times? Any or all of those stats would be a good reason for a fan to want to call in and gush. But this wasn't about on-court basketball performance at all. It was for the kindness that Charles showed when the cameras were not on him. The caller explained that many years ago he had taken his young son to see their favorite basketball team, the Phoenix Suns, and he didn't have enough money to buy his son a t-shirt or a jersey. He said that it was a known thing that unless you had purchased a jersey with a player's name on it, you didn't stand a chance of getting one of the players to stop and give you an autograph, but they decided to try to do so anyway. He and his son waited outside for the players, and as the team came through, not a single player stopped to give his son an autograph, except for one, and that was Charles Barkley. The caller said that the fact that he couldn't afford to buy his son a jersey didn't stop one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA from taking the time to meet his son and make his dream come true by giving him an autograph. He said he's waited many years to tell Charles Barkley how important that 1 minute of his time was to him and his son. Charles said how much he appreciated the call and that he thinks that interacting with the fans is an important part of the job. He said that what the caller said was so profound. It only takes a minute. That it doesn't take more than a few minutes to show someone kindness, to ask them how they're doing, and to listen to their answer. As I have said, there is inspiration all around us. We just need to take the time ourselves to notice it and then to allow the impact to drive us to do something. How can we make the "it only takes a minute" check-in part of our lives? We can do like Elmo and send "how are you doing" texts. We can let someone know we're going to go to the store and ask them if they would like us to pick up something for them. We can ask a friend or neighbor to join us on our walk. If you hear a song that reminds you of someone, you can send them a link to the music and let them know you're thinking of them. You can do as a friend of mine does and drop off the books she's enjoyed reading at my home when she's done with them, so that I can enjoy them too. Or do as another one of my friends does and schedule tea dates, even virtual ones, where you can see someone in person or on Zoom if you can't get together in person and get caught up over a cup of tea. Or as another one of my dear friends does, he coordinates his weekly shopping trip to Trader Joe's with me so that my husband and I can meet up with him while we're stocking up on our favorite foods. The whole Elmo story showed us that we can even work on getting better at asking people how they are doing by asking specific questions like, "I'd like to hear more about what is going on. Can you tell me?" Or, "I care about what is going on with you." Or asking someone, "What do you need right now?" Or, "How can I best support you?" Thanks to Elmo and also to Charles Barkley, maybe more of us will take the minute to check in. That's all it really takes. To ask those we love how they're doing, and then to take the time to listen to their answer. Both Elmo and Charles are examples of what a huge difference even the smallest of gestures can make. Thank you for tuning in today. This is a way to feel connected to each other and to remind ourselves how important mental and emotional health are to our total well-being. The description box includes links to some helpful resources. If I may be of support, please don't hesitate to reach out through my contact information. Let's take the time and make the time. It only takes a minute. Until we meet again, please remember, I am wishing you well.